Okay, number 9, we're going to also find the X and Y intercept, and then we're going to graph it. So I missed the first part, so I'm going to redo it. I didn't have the recording going. So we're going to do 4x plus 7 equals negative 4y plus 7. So before I get going, I'm just going to simplify this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to combine the numeric terms so that I only have x, y, and one constant. To do that, I'm going to subtract 7 because it's positive from both sides. That's going to simplify my equation to 4x equals negative 4y. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do the x-intercept, which means y equals 0. And then we're also going to do the y-intercept. And then this time, x would be 0. Okay, so if I plug a 0 for y, this side is going to 0 out, and I'm going to be left with 4x equals 0. Divide by 4, and then you get x equals 0. So ordered pair would be 0, 0. When you plug a 0 for x, this side will 0 out, and you'll be left with, and I'm going to rewrite it the other way. I'm going to write the negative 4y over here equals 0. Same concept. This time we're going to divide by negative 4, and you still get y equals 0. So ordered pair here is 0, 0. So when you plug your ordered pairs in, both the x-intercept and the y-intercept is 0, meaning that this graph crosses the origin, so right in the center. Okay, so from there, we then want to graph the equation. So that's the part we're on now. And then notice here, it says to graph the equation by plotting x and y intercepts. If the intercept does not exist or is duplicated, like we have here, same point, we're going to use another point on the graph. So in order to do that, we are going to take this equation and solve for y, or you can simply plug in any number that you want. So we've used 0. I'm going to write this equation down, 4x equals negative 4y. You can input any x value that you want, and then once you plug that in, you solve for y. So let's just say that we use 2. For example, I can use any number other than 0 because I already have 0. So I'm going to plug a 2 in for x. And then this will give us 8 equals negative 4y. And then divide by negative 4. And that will give you negative 2 equals y. So when we plugged in negative 2 for x, we got a negative 2 for y. I said that wrong. Whenever we plugged in a positive 2 for x, we got a negative 2 for y. So this is the other point that I'm going to use to graph. So graphing this, I'm going to leave one point there, and then I'm going to go right 2 and down 2. And this will give us our graph. Alright, number 10, same type of problem, new numbers. So we have 8 minus 7y, and that is equal to 1 minus x. Alright, so again, I'm going to simplify a little bit. I'm going to move this term over. So I'm going to subtract 8. And then this will give me negative 7y equals negative 7 minus x. And then from here, I'm going to do x and y intercept. equals 0, and then x equals 0. Now, I think I want to, at this point, show you some calculator options as well. So I'm going to take this equation, negative 7y equals negative 7 minus x. I'm going to divide by negative 7. It's going to give us y equals, it's going to be 1, and this is going to be plus, negative divided by negative is positive, plus 1 over 7x. And then normally slope-intercept form we would put that in front, but it's okay. This will get us there. I'm also going to graph this and just confirm the intercept and just show you how to do it graphically as well. You can take any equation, put it in slope-intercept form as long as there's a y, and then you can graph it and we can find the intercept that way. So first, we're going to go from here. We're going to find the x-intercept, y equals 0. So this is what I'm left with. 0 equals negative 7 minus x. Solving for x, we're going to add 7. 7 equals negative x. And then to get x positive, you have to divide by negative 1. Your variable always has to be positive. So you get negative 7 equals x. So order pair negative 7, 0. And then for y-intercept, we plug a 0 for x, and we're left with negative 7y equals negative 7. And then in this point, we're going to divide by negative 7. And we get y equals positive 1. And then ordered pair, that would be 0, 1. So we got two ordered pairs. For our intercept, we'll be able to graph that pretty easily. I'm also going to graph this as well and show you how to see this with the calculator. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to go to y equal. I'm going to clear out what I have. And then I'm going to insert this equation. So I'm going to do 1 plus, and I'm going to make it look exactly like this. I'm going to do alpha y equal, giving me the option to make a fraction that n/d means numerator over denominator. And then I'm going to do a fraction form. I'm going to do 1 on the top, 7 on the bottom, arrow over at that variable x. And then I'm going to hit graph. So it's going to graph it for me. It's a pretty flat line, but you can see it crosses here and up here. I'm going to do second and this trace button for calculate. That word C-A-L-C means calculate is in blue. Anytime you want to access those blue words, you have to hit second first. You can tell when you hit second, you have that upper arrow, which means it's looking at the upper function. Okay, so I'm going to hit second trace, and then I'm going to put 0. So when I do 0, it's going to give me when y is 0. So it wants you to go to the left of it, so I'm going to arrow a little bit to the left. You can see x is negative here. I'm going to go a little bit to the right, and then it asks me to guess. You don't have to guess, just hit enter. As long as that 0, so the 0, I forgot, is looking when x is 0, not when y is 0. So let me do that again. Second trace. There's two different ones. So if I want to do x is 0, I want to do value. So I want to hit a 0 for x. So this is going to give us the y-intercept, yeah, when x is 0. At the bottom you see 0, 1. So that's the same thing we have here. Now the other one, if you want to find the x-intercept, they don't allow you to put y equals 0. That's the one I was doing backwards. You're going to do second trace again. This time we're going to do 0. And they're looking for this y value. So left down, I need to go on the left side. So when y is negative, so I'm going to make y negative. Hold down the left. Okay, y is negative, and then I hit enter. So a while ago when they said there's no sign change, I picked two positive values. I was working it backwards. But now y is negative. Now I'm going to go to the right, so I'm going to make sure y is positive. So now it's positive, hit enter. And then it says if you want to guess, you don't have to guess, just hit enter a third time. And then it shows you that 0, negative 7, 0. And so that will match this one here, negative 7, 0. So you can do that with the calculator as well. I think they try to show you some of those button pushings in the notes. So intercept negative 7, 0 for X, and then 0, 1 for the Y. And then we're going to go graph that and plot those points. I'm going to go left 7, and then I'm going to go up 1 on the order. And that's a match, pretty flat line, just like we graphed.